What's good, LL Nation? Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome in. It's a Dub Monday. Happy Dub Monday. Lefty Podcast. Pretty great show. Brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. It's getting close to the fall, so I'm going for my Paul Bunyan look, trying to grow out the whiskers. I don't know how far I'll go, but I'm not cutting it until Notre Dame loses. So they better win out. Hope everybody's feeling great. Left will be along in a second. Want to get started. Didn't want you guys to be waiting. LL question of the day. LL question of the day. Is Notre Dame on the right path? Is Notre Dame on Yeah. Are they on the right path? Even though things might not be perfect, are they on the right path? It's interesting because what we saw Saturday was a team win. And I want to point this out because I had a couple of people reach out to us after the show in the comments and via social media, and they were talking about, being a little harsh on the quarterbacks at Notre Dame, which, I personally took offense to because I think as a former player, Malik, and I know I try to make sure that my words are very measured when it comes to players on the roster. But I'm not backing down for what I said for the last week. The 10-win seasons, I would say the previous two 10-win seasons under Brian Kelly were empty calories. Not for the players, right? Because the players play to win the game. So that's satisfying for them. But when we're talking about the overall arc of the program was moving further away from the likes of Georgia and Alabama in the previous two seasons. And the recruiting classes bear that out. Like, recruiting is the bloodline of any program. Any program. And you just can't have that, right? Can't have it. And you put that on whomever you want to put that on. Position coaches, head coach, however you want to put that on. And the team we have now is the team we have, right? And the reason I asked the question is Notre Dame on the right path is because there needs to be, for those of you, look, I'm a finance major, so the economy goes through a lot of fluctuations, and then all of a sudden there's a period where it needs correction. And, it's quite possible that the Notre Dame football program is going through a period of correction, right? And what are those things that need to be corrected or need to be done to make sure that they come out on the other side and that they're gaining momentum and gaining ground on the likes of Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson, Ohio State? We'll see, right? We'll see, because we don't take the field. That Notre Dame team that took the field on Saturday is the same team that took the field against Marshall. The Notre Dame team that took steps forward in the fourth quarter, and the leadership that took steps forward in the fourth quarter against Cal, the same leadership and players that had the opportunity to do so against Marshall. They had the same opportunity. They had the same opportunity against Ohio State. Fourth quarter game, take a step forward, make plays, make an impact. And for whatever reason, they didn't do that. And today I'm not here to debate and argue who's more to blame, coaches and Brian Kelly wouldn't have lost that game. This, all that. Look, man, it's neither here nor there. We need to get to a point where we take a total look at the program, big picture, and recognize when it comes to winning a national championship, this ain't it. Right? This ain't it. And, it still pains and irks me to hear people, covering the team, still complaining about the lack of talent. We don't have any wide receivers. Man, look, I see plenty of teams with less talent at receiver constantly being able to score. And look, I'll take it a step forward. I think Penn State has been one of the schools that has produced wide receiver talent in the last 4 or 5 years, and they've gone on to be great players in the NFL. They had one of the best wide receiver cores last year, and flat out, when the quarterback got hurt at Iowa, after they were destined, this is the Iowa team that started out undefeated, was on fire, was creating like 3 to 4 turnovers per game. It was ridiculous. They lose Sean Clifford in the middle of that game, and all of a sudden, those wide receivers didn't mean anything. They didn't mean anything. Nothing. Nada. Couldn't get the ball to them. And this, for some reason, everybody felt like they had to protect Drew Pyne this week after the game. Like, we have to protect Drew Pyne and make this seem like it was a much better performance than what it was. Right? Let's not talk about the beginning. Let's kind of put the beginning under the carpet, under the rug, sweep it under the rug, and point out that they won with Drew Pyne at the head. Let's make it Drew Pyne led the team to a victory. No, Drew Pyne rode the coattails of that team to a victory. Did he make plays? Yes. But he rode the coattails of that offensive line in that running game to victory. Flat out. The one thing he did not do, which this whole scared to pull the trigger, don't make mistakes. There's certain teams coming up, you can't play that way. Eventually, you're gonna have to pull the trigger. Like, I heard people talking about Braden Lindsey dropped the ball in the second half. Go watch the play. The ball was late and it was behind Braden Lindsey. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, Lorenzo Styles dropped that ball in the first half. That would have been a first down. Absolutely. Right? Right? But Drew Pyne was chasing worms on multiple throws early in that game. So, look, man, I get so irritated with fan bases and the people that cover teams feeling like they have to protect these athletes. What are teenagers? Man, look, they're on the verge of being grown men. And they have to be accountable for the output on the field. You have to hold them accountable. You have to. And that was one of the greatest things. I continue to be pleasantly surprised with the maturation that's happening before my eyes. What I see Marcus Freeman maturing with each game, being more active on the sideline, being more involved, conversing with the referees. I wish he had thrown the flag on a couple of those receptions that they gave to Cal early in the first half to challenge, but that's another learning lesson. But ultimately, for me, I think this comes down to understanding who this team is and getting back to the point that we realize, hey, there is a path here. There's a path where Notre Dame can still have a successful season and be trending upward, coming off of the 22 recruiting class, going into the 23 recruiting class, and building on what already is the number one ranked class in 24. I really believe in that. Really believe in that. So Marcus Freeman, he talked about setting the tone. And moving forward, what this team is going to have to depend on when he met with the media after the game?
Not love the way we played in the first half. I got to go back and watch the film and see what the issues were, but I know offensively we had a couple 3-and-outs. We fumbled the ball the first half. It was just we weren't playing clean football. Defensively, we held them to 10 points, but we have to be better. And to see those guys come out in the second half and offensive line really dictate the running game, and to see that and D-line get after the quarterback, that's going to be our backbone. We're going to depend and rely on our O-line and D-line, and I was really proud of the way they stepped up to the challenge in the second half.
Flat out. They did not play well in the first half. They didn't. Marcus Freeman knows that. He's very well aware of that. But from the jump, Marcus Freeman told us the moment he took this job what his vision was and what needed to be done, and how this team needed to be led by the offensive line and the defensive line. And it was disappointing in the first two matchups, first two games of this season, when you have everyone as the collective put Notre Dame in position to win games, and the leaders along the offensive line and along the defensive line didn't step up. That was disappointing. That's disappointing because honestly, that is what makes Notre Dame a viable team this year. It's certainly not the quarterback, right? It's certainly not the running backs, and I don't have a problem with the running backs, but it's not like we're talking about Bijan Robinson at running back for Notre Dame. The fan base is begging and clamoring for Tobias Merriweather to get snaps, so it can't be the wide receivers. Kudos to Mike Mickens and his defensive backs, Chris O'Leary and his safeties, because they're the best unit on the squad right now after 3 weeks with their performance. We knew it had to be the offensive line and defensive line. Some could say maybe they put a little bit too much on Tyler Buckner's shoulders, right? And then once Drew Pyne actually became the starter due to injury, the coaches recognized, look, we got to get back to the basics. We have to get back to the basics. We saw the viral clip of Tommy Rees talking to Drew Pyne after that first quarter. Well within his rights as a coach to go at him like that. Have absolutely no problem. If I had a son, I would want my coach, if he played that way, I would want my coach to eat his tail. Eat him up. I don't care if they catch it on national TV. Eat him up. I can deal with that. Eat his lunch. Eat it. Because it was ridiculous. You're a quarterback at the University of Notre Dame. That can't happen. Not that type of stuff. That can't happen. And what we heard all week is how much energy and leadership you were going to bring. I get it. First start, Notre Dame Stadium. You've been there 3 years. I will not underrate what it means to start a game in that stadium. It is possibly the most visible position in all of college football. Possibly. I don't know what that anxiety is about. Luck will be here in a couple of minutes. Maybe he can tell you. Don't forget, CJ Prosise joins us on the Players Lounge coming up at the top of the hour. Shout out to Chip Long for getting the interim job at Georgia Tech with the dismissal of Jeff Collins. We'll talk about that in a little bit along with the rest of the college football weekend. Crazy weekend, matter of fact. But where we sit, no one lied to us. LL Nation, no one lied to us as a fan base. This coaching staff was pretty honest. Harry Heastan told us to be patient with Joe Alt and Blake Fisher. He said, be patient. They're still young. Marcus Freeman told us, my vision for this team Run the ball, stop the run. We have to be able to do that. If we don't do that, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle. So what are we really talking about? Right? What are we really talking about? We're talking about a team. The question of the day is, do you feel good about the direction of the program? I'm not talking about the 1 and 2 season. I'm talking about big picture. Do you feel good about the direction of the program and possibly entering into a time and season or an era of correction where things have to be changed and shifted in order to come out and you're not in inflation is what I would say Notre Dame was over the last 2 years, right? Empty calories with 10 wins. Like the 10 wins, you won 10 games, but you weren't a legit title contender. You went to a college football playoff, but you really weren't a legit title contender. You beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence. But when Trevor Lawrence showed up, we see what happens. We see what happens. So like I said, Left is coming back from the doctor's office. He'll be on in a short few, but I don't want to delay any longer. Each and every Monday, we welcome former Notre Dame players into the Players Lounge right here in the Lefty Podcast. And it's always a pleasure to talk to this guy, man. To talk about a baller. And I'm interested in talking to him specifically about how the usage that we saw from Chris Tyree on Saturday. We welcome in CJ Prosise, former Notre Dame player, to the Players Lounge on the Lucky Lefty Podcast. CJ, what's good, my bro?
What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Man, how's everything? How's the family before we get into it?
Fam's good. Life is good. Been doing well, having the gym going and stuff. So doing good down here in Texas. Still a little hot down here.
I might have to come down there for a week for you to take me through a nice regimen, bro. I need it.
I will get you right. We'll get you right.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about it. You had experience with different OCs, different quarterbacks, and being moved around. Like you were a guy that the staff felt like we have to get him touches.
Right.
We have to find a way to get him touches. And it seems like it's the same dilemma that they're dealing with another guy from Virginia, Chris Tyree.
804, 804.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to get him touches.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? How is that for the player? Like, how frustrating is it? Do you feel like just put me in this position and let me work? Or what was it like for you? And what do you think it's like for Chris Tyree?
I think in the long run, I think is more helpful because, the versatility is going to help you in the long run down the road, just being able to do both and being able to get the ball in different spots of the field and be able to make plays from every spot in the field. And I like it the way they're using them. And it really falls on the OC as far as getting creative ways to like give them the ball, because, you can have them in different positions, but if you're not really getting the ball or just having them running back, just having them running motions and stuff is not really doing a lot. It's kind of like just for show. But what he did, on the game Saturday, they did a great job getting the ball, let him catch the rock, let him run the rock. Obviously, at the return game, he's always gonna do his thing there. And so I'm just happy to see, him getting the rock and doing his thing. And I told him, I was like, just make sure you're taking care of your body. They're gonna need you a lot going forward because them running back definitely gonna have to rely heavy on them going forward for sure.
And it's interesting you talk about the question of the day that we put forward to the people in the chat is, big picture. Now we understand they're 1 and 2 currently as they sit with the record after 3 games, but big picture, what are your feelings? Are you feeling positive about the direction of the program right now, even at 1 and 2? As a former player, you've been through seasons like this where it's tough. We had Cam McDaniel on, and he talked about he had to kick the coaches out at the Music City Bowl and have a talk to you guys and say, yo, like, I understand we started out 6-0 and things kind of went left, but like this has to matter to us.
Yeah.
And how that kind of propelled you guys into the success of the 2015 season. Like, just talk about that and being able to come together as a squad, lean on the leadership, and move forward after a disappointing first 2 games.
Yeah, man, it's still early in the season. It's still a lot of football left to be played. I mean, they got 9 games. They can win 9 straight and still have a good season. And it's like you can't get down from the early season woes. Growing pains, new coach. A lot of guys, new starter, new quarterback. The quarterback position right now. Is still got a quarterback injury, got a guy coming in. So it's like it's just a lot of stuff up in the air right now. So got once guys kind of get settled in and Coach Freeman starts to get a little more comfortable too. Like I think we'll be good. I'm not in any shape or form worried. Obviously I didn't expect us to be in the playoffs this year. I didn't think we were, last year we had a great team, but I knew like we were going to lose some guys and lose some key guys, key leaders. And coming back, I think, it's tough, especially with new coach and stuff and a lot of new staff. So, guys is going to have to, step it up. And some new guys like on Saturday, the Twins stepping up on the D-line, some guys new guys are going to step up and do their thing.
We talked about this last week, and we talk about the importance of the quarterback position at this point. I don't care if you start out small fry. The best athlete usually plays at quarterback, even if they don't stay there as they matriculate up through different levels. And that position, and I said this, and Malik kind of agreed. I said, look, 2015 to 2018, I felt like Notre Dame, from a talent standpoint, was literally right there, like this close.
Yeah.
When you're talking about being that close to Alabama and Georgia. I said after that, in my opinion, it was kind of like a slow decline. And I was like, you kind of saw it with the quarterback position. Like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it just that simple moving forward? Like, get a guy at quarterback, get more talent on the outside? Because fans are thinking that.
I think I will say the talent wise, the depth wise, it isn't as it isn't as deep as it was those years 2015 through 2018. But I think it's still guys are gonna have to make plays at the end of the day, and I think those years we just had a lot of guys making plays and a lot of guys who kind of took themselves to the next level. And then I think another thing that kind of overshadowed a lot of stuff was the offense was so good. Like we had those years, the offense was so explosive from running backs to receivers to tight ends. Everybody was having big plays, 60-yard runs, 80-yard touchdown bombs and stuff. So I think, the fan base kind of got used to seeing, 40 plus games and stuff. And now that we don't really have that explosiveness on the offense, it's weird to see. It's like, oh, we were explosive for those years. Now we don't have that explosiveness. So I think we'll get back to there. The recruiting class coming in is great. It's going to take time. It's not going to be an overnight thing. And it's just going to take a little time to get there.
It's so crazy as we have CJ Prosise, former great Notre Dame wide receiver, running back, right here with us on the Lefty Podcast. I think Leak said he's getting ready to tap in a few minutes. You just touched on something. You talked about the depth in recruiting in the bloodline. Having the opportunity to see what Coach Freeman is doing and the buzz he's created in the 23 class, already having the number 1 class in 2024, already having his quarterback to lead that class in 2024. For me, there's a sense of, okay, they get it. They know what they need to do. They're making strides in that direction. But you talked about the leadership stepping up. Looking at the first 2 games, are they 3-0 if the leadership does what they did Saturday in those first 2 games? Because they had opportunities to win both of those games in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The first game, Ohio State's tough. Ohio State's a tough matchup.
Facts.
I don't know. I think even if our best game, I think they're gonna match us at our best game too. So I think even if late in that game they might still pull us out. Either if we play better, I think it's still gonna be a late game. Who knows? Kind of game, like whoever has the ball last kind of situation. Yeah. Hopefully they don't, because their quarterback is, if he got the ball last, it's probably gonna be a score. But but in that second game, we definitely made a lot of mistakes, a lot of undisciplined football, and you can tell we just like a young team right now. A lot of young guys got there playing because a lot of mistakes were made, especially on Saturday. A lot of mistakes were made. There's mistakes that shouldn't be made. Even like into the game when the Hail Mary is like, just knock it down. almost.
Right.
It's like just little stuff like that you see, and it's just like, come on, we're not a disciplined team, and that's going to lead to losing. That's not winning football.
How thin is the line between what you just said, being a disciplined team and being an undisciplined team?
Well, I mean, we saw it on Saturday. I mean, if we're a disciplined team, we get out of that last drive, they don't even get past the 20.
Right.
We don't make that we get a shoulder tackle instead of a helmet to helmet contact, and we out of that drive. We got an interception, game over. So that shows it right there. We gave them a chance to win, and we could have won the game 2 minutes ago.
You can go back to the first quarter, and I believe this. I felt like the offense played well enough around Drew Pyne that if he had gotten off to a decent start, they would have put up points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the offensive line was trending forward and got stronger with each quarter. So that's why I said big picture, I'm really feeling good about the way things are going because I think, they got that W. They got that bear off their back.
Exactly.
Now they can move forward and just play. Instead of worrying about the stress of getting a win and being 0-2. Now they can just go out and play as they face North Carolina, who, by the way, gives up a lot of points. Like if you're trying to get better offensively, that's the perfect team to have in your way defensively.
For sure. And we definitely need to rely on that run game because the O-line and the running backs, they're gonna get it done. And behind Meyer, throwing it behind the O-line and Meyer, and then the running backs, they're gonna get it done. So I'm excited for the next steps for sure.
You said something, and I agree. I speak for Notre Dame fans. You're right. We were spoiled. We were spoiled. From 15 through 18, we were spoiled with the depth and of the roster. We were spoiled with the offensive line play. And Malik has said this for the last 2 years, like, relax. Like, you all are looking at what normal offensive line play is in college football. You're spoiled. With the great guys you had.
You spoiled from all the guys up front, and you got the receivers. I mean, even I was talking to a couple of guys, Chris Brown, Amir Carlisle the other day, and we're like, receivers. We had Corey Robinson, Will Fuller, Amir, Torrey Hunter, Equanimous, and Miles. They were the backups.
They were the babies, right?
They were babies, and they right now they're in the league. They're in the league doing their thing now. So it's like, we were so deep on offense. It was like, people don't even really realize the depth, the talent that we had. I mean, we even the tight ends, we had like Durham Smite, he's secretly just in the league doing his thing. Our O-line, we got all types of guys in the league. Like Sam Mustapher, he's on starting last night, doing his thing. So it's like, it's just great seeing all the guys doing their thing for one. And then, people really don't forget the depth that we really had on those teams.
Oh, I don't forget. Like, I know that was the moment. That was like, it can happen. And unfortunately, we just had things go the opposite way. Left.
Hold on, let me get my camera right.
There he is. I'll get him out. He'll be joining us in a second. Once again, CJ Prosise joining us on the Players Lounge each and every Monday. We have a former Notre Dame player join us to talk about the previous game and the overall status of the program. What's up, Hollywood?
Yes, sir.
Listen, man, you know how the baby doctor appointments go. You know how
those go, man. Hey, it were rough days.
Hey, man, it's great to have you on the pod, CJ, man. Look,
always good seeing you, brother. Always good seeing you, man.
The hair looking great, by the way.
Oh man, it's getting there, but it's been a long time coming. It took a while. Finally got
there. I was there for the inception, though. I was there when it was.
It's about commitment, man. You gotta be committed to it for sure.
Obviously, you can see CJ. He was not committed to continuing his growth.
Hey, listen, it's a real commitment because those first 2 years, you gotta get through those first 2. You gotta get through the ugly phase. Once you get to the ugly phase, you're good though. It turned out good for you.
You Wiz Khalifa and all that next.
Yeah.
So we were actually chopping it up, Lee, about the current state and big picture. How do you feel about this program? Like, we know your thoughts. You talked about on a post-game show about the actual quarterback position and Drew Pyne and his performance, but just overall big picture. We were talking about being spoiled from 15 through 18 and thinking it was going to stay that way. And when there was a slight decline in roster depth, we start to see certain things, cracks in the wall. You have a season like last year where, honestly, if Jack Cohn doesn't transfer, This could have been last year.
It could be last
If we don't have Jack Cohn at quarterback. So I think just coming to the realization as a fan base that, you know what, this is a time of correction, and this is the challenge put before Marcus Freeman and his staff. And from a recruiting standpoint, they've gotten it right. I spoke and I said before CJ came on, day by day, game by game, I'm seeing Marcus Freeman become a better head coach, become more involved dealing with situations and situational football, talking to the refs, fighting for his team. I would have loved for him to throw a red flag and challenge a couple of those receptions that, Cal was given that were incompletions, in my opinion. But he's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see that. And he's going to grow. And as he grows, the program is going to get better. So I feel positive about the direction, big picture of the program. How do you feel this more?
Definitely feel positive where it's going. And a lot of it is the belief factor. There was a lot of good moves made when Brian Kelly was there, but we just was like, okay, just another move made. But at least with Marcus Freeman starting hot like he is, you can appreciate the effort and time he's putting into it. He's not taking it slow. He's not looking at it from it's going to happen when it's happened, or sticking to even the narratives that we had for so long. He's like, look, I'm going down to get all the tough dudes. I'm making the trips. I'm doing all the extra stuff I need to. Going to see the Notre Dame club in California just because that's a part of the job. So from a person to take hold of what it means to be a Notre Dame head coach, he's doing that.
Yeah,
he's doing that. So, in case of what you paid for, you get what you paid for. He's living up to his end of the bargain. I think if he had total control, I don't think we start off the season 0-2. But I do like how he's getting better in-game situations. Like you said, I wish he would have challenged one of the catches of what Cal had, because they had to hurry up to try to, when they try to hurry up, I'm throwing the flag.
They the only thing they caught it.
It's like, it's supposed to be called. I ain't gonna let so he'll get better with that, I think, as more game goes on. But my whole thing is that I hope there's support around him enough for him to go through a transition. I don't want it to be a 6 and 7 season. They talk about firing a dude.
Yeah.
That's OD.
Sure.
Get a man a chance.
I look at it like this. I mean, Coach Kelly was a smart dude. People don't like him, and I mean, he was he a butthole, but he was a smart dude, and he knew he was not leaving Coach Freeman with much. Like, not as far as but he knew he wasn't leaving with a real quarterback. Like the quarterback situation was up in the air. Defense is solid, but other than that, you don't really have a lot of guys who are the guys like real starters on the team. So everything's kind of up in the air. So he knew he was leaving a situation kind of up in the air for somebody else. And Coach Freeman jumped into that situation, and I love the way he jumped into it. He jumped into it head first and doing what he's supposed to do, getting on the road, recruiting, bringing in new guys, and then bringing in the right guys. And for his system, and I think it's gonna work in the end. I mean, maybe obviously not this year. I don't think we're gonna be a top two. Like I didn't think that before the season, because I mean, anytime you have to me before you have a quarterback battle between two young guys or early in the season, like before the season starts, you're not gonna it's gonna be just so much uncertainty, because once one guy messes up, the next one's going in, and then from there it's all over.
Oh yeah, it's trash.
Over with. Because the mental from there is just jacked up, So definitely just gonna be growing pains this year. I'm gonna be watching every game, so I don't care what the record is. It's all about I just want to watch the young guys play and get off. So that's all it's about.
What have you seen from the running backs that maybe they can improve on, or stuff that you feel like when we had a running back class, our running back room was multifaceted. We had guys that can catch, run, block, do everything. But this room's a little different. What did you see from the running back room so far?
No, I mean, they definitely got the guys they got are very kind of tailored for what they do. Estimated very downhill. Him and Logan Diggs very downhill runners. I was hoping to see Logan Diggs a little bit more. Obviously Tyree, he's the fast guy out the backfield. I just think just using them in different ways. Just getting the ball to him in different ways, and because if you keep giving it to him that straight downhill, that's all he's gonna know. So
that's true. I want to see what S looks like on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Like get him out in the open, and let him run, and let the guys do different things, and just be as a from the offensive standpoint, just be a little bit, just be creative. I mean, obviously you got young guys, so you can't open the playbook completely and totally, but you know, you do want to. I would like to see like just creativeness and stuff. You know, that's how I
was
feel.
a little creative. You know, you catching it, running it. I
Right.
mean, you did just about everything. So
That's how I feel. You know, I'm thinking, you know, jets and screens and all types of stuff out the backfield. Just let guys get in the open space.
They made a decision in the second quarter. It was funny because it was almost like Marcus Freeman hit Tommy like, look, this dude ain't right now. We running this rock.
Yeah.
Like we are not about to lose this game because of the quarterback. That's not happening. Run this rock. And I was happy that Harry Heastand and that offensive line were ready to take the challenge.
Yeah.
Like I understand it was Cal, you know, not the most formidable defense that they're going to be facing for the rest of the season, especially with Clemson on the schedule. But it's like, you know, this is a game. And it's not easy winning college football games. You have to go out there and play. They were able to do it. They were able to execute. Of course, you don't like Jared Patterson and Zeke Correll getting back-to-back procedural penalties when you're driving into Cal territory. But you fix it, you get better, you move on.
My question:
How many games can they win? See, this is my thing. This formula, how many games can they realistically win, both of you guys, this season? Like, how many? Can they get to 8? Can they get to 9?
Listen, I will. I mean, for me, I'll rely on the offensive line, especially with Harry Heastand, the offensive line. I'll rely on them definitely this year. You know, I don't think it's going to give us a, you know, we're not going to be a 10-win team or a 9 or 10-win team that way. But I mean, I don't see us being a 9 or 10-win team the other way either. So
I got us winning 7 games. I think it's hard 7. Like
hard 7, yeah.
UNC, it's a hard win. Like it's a 3-point.
USC gonna be a hard win.
Oh, USC! Look, I'm not counting that as one of the wins. USC,
USC gonna be that's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a tough one.
My question, we got Stanford. We play Stanford this year now.
We play Stanford.
They come to us in October. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we
but this is where I have the confusion because a lot of people talk about the undisciplined penalties. CJ, you've been on the team. You've been on the team with us. Do you think that undisciplined penalties are a player or a coach problem?
It's kind of both. It's definitely. I wouldn't. It's definitely on the player. The players are definitely being undisciplined, but the coach ain't got to enforce it to where they're not
got to
doing
enforce it, right?
And so what this the part that was killing me from the game when on the Hail Mary when the safety tried to scoop it up, that shows me that's undisciplined to me because that tells me that they're not telling him to knock the shit down. I mean, it's the end of the game. Like I can see maybe halftime, maybe the end of the game. You ain't won a game yet. Knock that shit down so we can get out of here.
Oh man, it was too close. It's like, what are y'all doing?
What are y'all? Just knock it down. But so that to me. But even the helmet to helmet. Like I didn't really. Like he was that's an emotional. I think that's emotional.
It's just
that's emotional. That's a bad play on the player's part. You can't. And I mean he's a captain, so he should know that. Like he can't really. He definitely should know better. So that's definitely undisciplined on him on the player part.
I just don't remember us having too many moments where you all right, bro, locking in. What you doing? It was more like everybody was. We doing this. We going here. This is what we going through.
Yeah, and I think we have also had to give a lot of control. The staff we had a great staff while we were there too. So maybe I know the staff, running back coach, receiver coach, offensively we had a great staff. So I knew we weren't penalty wise. We weren't committing any penalties.
We were just
Which it wasn't us. You weren't playing if you were doing none of that. So
you wasn't playing if you was doing none of that. You wasn't playing.
If you got penalties, you got penalties, or you holding anything, you ain't playing. I got one holding penalty, and Coach Kelly took me out the whole game my sophomore year. I got a holding penalty in a bubble screen, and he took me out the whole game.
Yeah. I remember Amir fumbled against Purdue and didn't play running back for the next 3 weeks.
He didn't play running back for the rest of his career. For his rest of his career. They moved him receiver after he fumbled at Purdue.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, so that's why we didn't have the penalties because of shit like that. We would be
because if
you unspoken stuff, you'd be like, Don't show up to a workout on time. All right.
Yep. You just ain't gonna play. But
So that's
that also goes back to the depth that we had though, because if you weren't doing your thing, then your number 2 is gonna take your spot.
Man, your number 2 was just there. He was just ready. It's like
ready.
Damn, bro, you
Ready.
can't do nothing about it. If you give him a chance, he gonna run with that shit.
You gonna run with it, like.
So what you guys are really pointing to is like a winning culture.
Yeah.
Like you create a winning culture, it's developed, and now you get the depth on the roster from a talent standpoint. And like you said, it's like, the coaches really don't have to say anything because you know the number 2 is right there on your heels. I had a problem personally. Left, I told you this. There's no way as a wide receiver you get a false start on a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1 and you stay on the field. I'm like, why is Braden Lindsay on the field?
You definitely ain't staying on the field.
Like, why is he still on the field? Like, my man, we doing a quarterback sneak and you get a penalty as the wide receiver? Like, pull that dude out right now. Like,
and it's always so funny because it's they send your boy in to go get you too.
Right.
You're like, all right, bro. Like, come on, bro. You know you
you messed up, bro. Like,
come on, step off the field for you. Like, for real, bro. Like, oh yeah, come on, sit your ass on the side.
Nobody even say nothing to you. I look to sit there and look. Nobody say nothing.
You don't get no sympathy on the sideline. That's the thing about us. We ain't getting no sympathy. You do some crazy shit. It's like, all right, man, you're just gonna be standing here and you looking for people. They're gonna be like,
no.
It would have to be something good happen after. Then we'd be like, you good, bro? You good? Stay with it.
Hey, you good? You got it back. You got it back.
You got it back, but it before? Nah, man, go ahead and sit on the side. Bro. You know, man.
My boy D-Rock Irish said it's part of his new release package, Lee.
Look, I like that he's getting open. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the growth that Chancey Stuckey done brought with the release packages. But man, somebody got to put the ball in their hand now. They be missing one last.
You got to catch it. You got to catch it. You got to catch it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. So let's talk about Chancey Stuckey and these wide receivers. Like the last 2 years, development has been one of the biggest issues that the fan base has had with the wide receiver position, but a lot of transfers and like the recruiting not being up to the level that it was in previous years has caused that room to lack depth, along with some injuries early in the year to guys like Deion Cozy. Fans are clamoring for a true freshman, Tobias Merriweather, to get on the field. He got a couple of snaps on Saturday, but didn't get a target. Just talk about that development at that position and how important that is in the symmetry between that position. Great question. We always ask this question, Lee. From a recruiting standpoint, CJ, is it the wide receivers that lead to the quarterback, or is it the quarterback that ultimately lead to the wide receivers?
Good question.
That's a good question. I mean, I would think, definitely the quarterback is going to draw some of the bigger guys as far as the recruiting wise. If guys seeing a good, as long as the guys seeing a good quarterback going somewhere, they're gonna at least know they got a good quarterback there.
Straight up.
But I think, for the quarterback though, like if he he going somewhere with good receivers, then he's like, all right, well at least I know I'm gonna be able to get off. I know I got guys to throw the ball to. So I mean, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. I don't really think it falls one way or another, honestly.
But then you got situations like ours. I don't think any receiver on the roster was like, you know what? I'm going to school because of Tyler Buckner. Or I'm going to school to play with Drew Pyne. I just don't. Maybe Michael Mayer, because I know Michael Mayer and Drew are boys going through high school. But, man, I don't know if Lorenzo Styles was thinking, I'm going to have 1,000 yards if I go to Notre Dame with TB. So, I mean, I don't know. Because I would think, I feel like in our situation, I think we played well together. Like, when me and you got on the field, it was like, all right, you trust me, I trust you. Shit, I tell you all the time, like, you only when I got out there. And we made it happen. And our first touchdown was a CJ in the spring game. And ever since then, it just, became bigger. But I thought it was a great relationship between the both of us. So, you look at a situation like Alabama, anybody and their mama be like, oh, I'm going to play with Bryce.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for
Even
sure.
the Georgia receiver on the national championship team, starter, left the championship team to go play with Bryce Young.
Heisman play, yeah.
Because he thinking about his draft. He like, I'm trying to get drafted. I
That's
don't
true,
want.
yeah.
I want to get drafted. So I don't know. I think it goes both ways, but it's hard.
Definitely for college football, it's going to be the quarterback is going to draw the interest for sure. I would say,
Yeah.
Definitely for sure the college for recruiting. Now you think about it, because you put it like that, is he going? Now you got guys looking at, because now I ain't really thinking about the NIL and the money part of it now, because now you got guys like you said, Bryce who making all that money, and guys like, I'm trying to go down there and get
some money too. You got to do it.
It's now you got to think about that too. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You got to think about now,
look at SC. SC got so many damn receivers.
Oh yeah.
I know why. It's like, okay, you got Caleb. Okay, Caleb put y'all on some commercials and
exactly.
Y'all to fly. Y'all look like NBA fits going to the game. Like y'all got it.
They driving Maseratis and Ranges and all types of stuff to the game, looking like an NFL parking lot.
Looking like an NFL parking lot over there. But they wanted to play together. These are all 1-year guys at that school.
Yeah.
All of them. They got Luke Runner. He's a 1-year guy, number 4. They got Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son. He's a 1-year guy. The Jordan Addison, 1-year guy. Caleb one. So, it can happen.
Yeah.
When you got that dude at quarterback.
Yeah, you definitely need a dude, though. You got to have a dude.
Maybe we got to dress Tyler up more. Give him some swag. Put some LeVans on him or something. Put some
LeVans on.
Yeah.
Give him a sleeve.
Yeah. Put some,
advisor.
Yeah, have him have a crazy fit walking to the game with the pit viper glasses. Swag him up or something. I don't know.
So you didn't like him up in the booth with Tommy Rees with the sleeve?
I didn't know if he was working or he was a custodian or something. He over there still face with the mask on. I'm like, oh, this man ain't even happy up there, man.
They forced him up there.
Yeah,
they probably did.
Put him in a Gucci shirt or something. Let him know that our quarterback is living. They got him in team issue gear,
team issue shirt.
Yeah, like he just got out of the rehab with Rob or something. Man, put that man in some, fly stuff. I don't know. It's 2022, man. We got NIL money out here, man.
That's what I'm saying. I know they're getting some type of bread up. They got to be getting something. Even though I know Notre Dame ain't probably giving them that much. They give them some. I know they give them something.
Yeah, they give them something.
And as from a recruiting standpoint, even after the Marshall loss, we pointed out the 3 receivers. Look, maybe you guys can point it out to me. In one class, I've never seen Notre Dame get 3 dogs at wide receiver. I'm talking about flat out dogs. When we talk about Jaden Greathouse, Braylon James, and Rico Flores, just go watch the film early in the senior season. There's 3 dogs in the same class, and then they get Tayshawn Lyons from out there at Tennyson High School in Northern California that came in. That's Tariq Bracey's cousin. Mm-hmm. They loved the trip so much, they stayed over to Sunday and then didn't leave until this morning.
Yeah.
And the kid tweeted late last night, I love it here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. This wide receiver group, all of them tweeted after the Marshall loss, wait till we get there. And I was like, okay.
See, a lot of that, too, comes from personality. We had personality on our team.
We had a lot of personality, too, yeah.
2015, we had guys that was like, are y'all football players or comedians? Because all y'all want to do is
definitely 2015.
But it made us good, though. I don't know how it makes you good. It made us good because you knew everybody's individual personality. Like Breeze had a personality, Amir had his personality, Torrey had his personality. Like everybody had their own thing. So when it came to football, it's like, I don't know, as a quarterback, I'm like, I know how he likes it. I know how Breezy likes it. I know where Amir likes. I know how Corey wants. It's just you get that feel. But when you lose personality in the room, when you have just a bunch of good guys that get good grades and shit and just say everything right in the media and, the perfect teammate, it's just like stale. It's like, who's the popper on the field? Who's going to shake it up? Who can I not expect something from? And the more we get away from that, I'm thinking maybe it was like the CJ senior year. And when we start getting like Miles Boykin and EQ and Chase, guys that were talented, but their personality didn't shine like Chase's personality isn't Mapletron's personality now.
Yeah.
It was like, you're Canadian, We trying to get him adjusted to, not tackling dudes when he's blocking and stuff like that. Like the personality of the receiver room just kind of went down. Like it's not that they were bad players. The personality just was real. All right, these are just good dudes. Like I would let all of you guys date my daughter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let Breezy date my daughter.
Absolutely not.
I wouldn't let Amir date my daughter. I wouldn't let him do that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Let Amir date my daughter though.
The last person on the team I let date my daughter.
The only person I let date my daughter out of that receiver room is maybe Corey Robinson.
Yeah.
Other than that, all of y'all greasy.
Yeah. Even Corey had a personality. Like
even Corey had a personality. So
I mean, I think we were so competitive too. Like it was like we were real competitive with it. Like
really.
I mean, I don't think our one-on-ones couldn't have been like the one-on-ones we would do. We were so competitive. It was like we were trying to fight each other almost. Like I know
you would think we wasn't friends for real.
Me and Matthias, we would go each other every day, and it was just like the same thing. Like we would fight for 10 yards, and just whoever, it wasn't even like a route. I would just throw the ball, and
it wouldn't be a route. It'd just be fighting at the line, and then eventually someone would break away, and he'll throw it, and then the dude would be OD and tackle
to the ground, catch it, and just throw it, run back to the line like nothing happened. Like.
And it'd be a good ass rep, but you'd be
good
like,
rep.
"Oh my god, like that was so too many penalties. You can't even kill
the whole penalty the whole way, the flags the whole way. It's about 5 flags coming on that play, both sides.
Both sides."
Lucky Lefty Podcast. CJ Prosise joins us on the Players Lounge that we have each and every Monday after a Notre Dame game. Notre Dame win big time, 24-17 over Cal. Marcus Freeman gets his first win as the head coach. Drew Pyne, rode a little coattail, but he still got his first win as a quarterback starting at Notre Dame. Moving forward, CJ, one of the biggest angst is the linebacker position, right? And at a school like Notre Dame, when you're so used to having Manti, to Jalen, to Niles, to Tavon, to Drew, it's like once again you get spoiled. And then you're like, what the heck is this? What's going on? Is that just similar in nature to what you talked about previously about the other positions, like O-line and being spoiled, and we just have to give this coaching staff time to get things changed?
Yeah, like I think that just kind of go back to the same thing I said earlier. Coach Kelly knew he was leaving. He knew he wasn't, like he leaving guys that had talent, but he knew he wasn't leaving like an NFL talented team, because if he was, he wouldn't have left. He wouldn't in the first place. So I think that's really what it comes down to. He kind of, maybe he was plotting his exit for a couple of years, and it's kind of like toned down recruiting or something. I don't know, but that's because that's kind of what it looks like. As far as like the guys who are kind of at the top now, or the guys who like the guys who have to step up now. Like I said, the guy. We'll get better as the season goes along. That's where the main leadership is on the team and at the linebacker position right now. So obviously those guys got to play better, and that's really all it goes from there, honestly.
We had guys on the team that they just wouldn't let you play bad. You know what I mean? Like we had Lou on our team. We were playing bad. Lou would say something.
Yeah, he's gonna say something. I don't think they have. I don't think it's not the leader. I don't think they have the guy who can just like turn it on. Like, I know Fosky can turn it on, but he's a DN, so it's like he's just gonna turn on third down, maybe a couple of times. But like, at the linebacker position, you don't got that guy like Jalen who can be like, bro.
Yeah, we had a Jalen. Like, come on.
We had a dog who can just make 15 tackles a game. He's just like, all right, nothing else. Just
it's like we good. We got Jalen. He gonna make a play. We ain't even. Tripping on
because
that.
basically, no offense to him, but we basically got 2 Joe Schmitz in the middle right now.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I said that and they got mad at me, but it's true. Two guys that you're like.
Now, is this
they're good football players. They're good football players, but they're not like all, they're not guys going to get you to a playoff. That's really what it comes down to. They're not Bama's linebackers. They ain't Jordan's linebackers. The boys are running side to side. faster than the running backs. Like, we ain't.
But our guys are good though. It's just
You're
like
good. You're
they're
good, but it's it's a different level. It's definitely levels, and as far as the level to kind of take over a game and stop the running, especially like stopping the run. Like they didn't. They definitely haven't shown me that they have that ability to take over like that. Like
definitely
Jalen.
not tackling you. Let's just
Yeah.
put like
No, definitely not. Definitely not. If I meet either one of them in the hole, I'm the first down every time.
And that's an issue. It's an issue for us.
Yeah. And that's what teams see on film too. That's the bad part. Teams see that on film and they like, oh, we can take advantage of them.
First play of the game. What Cal do first third down? They lined up their running back, put him out wide. They said, "Oh, we got him one. We got us one."
Oh man.
And they threw it to me. He was open. They threw it to me. He was open.
And they see that on film.
That's film work.
You're gonna get that every week.
First third down, you single out our only receiver or linebacker on your running back. Come on, man.
Yeah, they know.
They in that coach room talking about, all right,
this guy can't run. 24, this guy right here can't run with the laser.
Hit him with the laser. They start drawing up plays right there. Oh, we're gonna get him on this. We're gonna get him on.
Yeah, we're gonna get him a wheel. They got a wheel. They got all types of plays just for him.
All type of explosive plays. They looking to get. So it's like if that's the case, and teams is doing that on film every week, then you got to replace that position.
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is my question, bro. We asked last week, like, what's the easiest positions to transition to, right? Like Mike Mickens has been able to get his two front. Benjamin Morrison started last week. First snap, right? DBs are pretty much go out there, man, that's your guy. Or we either in zone, play your zone. It might be a little bit easier than starting a true freshman at quarterback that has a lot more on his plate. The linebacker position, that linebacker has to communicate. Mm-hmm. He has to talk fronts. He has to get the D-line set up if they're in the wrong gap. So that's a little bit more responsibility, and maybe that's why they're leaning on the leadership of those guys early in the season.
Yeah.
While the young guys get ready. Heck, he has 4 linebackers from the 22 class athletically that were better coming in the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From a speed standpoint. So we know the upgrade there. Maybe Marcus Freeman, if you guys can correct me, maybe Marcus Freeman is like, I don't want to put these guys out. I'm not sacrificing them just because these guys can't get it right. Because it's not like they're not doing the simple things right. Just scraping over the top of a run play to the outside, hitting the wrong gap, lining up in the wrong gap, not telling the defensive line to shift when they're getting out leveraged, like on that big run Kyle had, in the third quarter. It's like those are simple things that you should be able to do, especially if you're smart at the position, like we've been told by Al Golden and his staff that these linebackers are super smart. I'm like, I don't care how smart you are. Like, can you play? Like, can you make the right tackle, get in space? And like you said, they got the laser. Every team from here on out, laser. This dude right here.
Yeah, right there.
Get him. We want him.
That's the fish out of water right there. We looking to cook.
Oh, yeah. Where he at? Where he at? Where he at? There he is. That play. There he is.
Yep. And then it's the worst when they go out there on game day. They're like, oh, 27, 20. Oh, he's right there. He's right.
Yep.
What you gonna do?
And yeah, man, it's tough. Like, the guys just gotta. I guess because they're older guys and I guess they're the leaders. You gotta. I guess you give them more chances. But I mean, it definitely comes to a point. I guess they're not at that point yet where it's like panic mode. Like play the young guys. I think they probably still. I mean, there's still some salvage to the season. Like the season's not over. Like it's still early on. We still can bring this thing back. Depending on how we play. But it definitely if we lose a couple more, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be time to throw them young guys in there and let them get their shot for sure.
Yeah, this young guy.
So what you talking? You talking about like week 4, week 5?
I'm saying. I'm thinking like if we win the next couple games, and like obviously no, but like if we go like we lose a couple more games, like if we go 1-4, it's time to play young guys for sure.
Yeah, I think Junior probably gets to start because JD, because of that penalty, is out for the first half against North Carolina.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Junior probably gets to start. on the inside. So
I
one of the
think
guys are
they
going to get
should
some chicks
play-
this
the young
weekend.
guys should play it against all the big teams. They should play SC. I'll throw the young guys out there.
Yeah.
We're playing BYU and Clemson. Throw the young guys out there. Why? Why not?
Definitely throw 'em out there.
The biggest experience that you're missing is the big game experience.
Yeah.
Throwing them young guys out there against Cal, even though all these teams are going to be competitive, by the way. But come on, I don't expect the jump for Ben Morrison to be bigger for a Cal starting all game or Clemson on important third downs or situations in the game to win the game or something.
Yeah. When you playing against NFL talent, you gonna
Exactly. Because then the next year, shoot, I could put them guys in any situation. They played
Right.
against SC. They played against the top teams that we were facing. Putting them in like Tyler Buckner winning against Virginia Tech and putting them in there. Yeah, but that's not Ohio State.
Yeah.
He should have played the Oklahoma State game, would have been way more prepared for this Ohio State game than coming off of the things that he did last year doing packages. You see them, there's
Right.
disservice.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman wants to start off fast next year and get that class coming in to mix well with the class that's there now. Play them young guys right now.
Well, Tommy had to get that OK State game on his resume, bro.
Oh, man.
The fact that Jack Cohn threw 50 balls, you knew Tommy was like, oh, I'm putting this on my real tape.
He said, I'm getting Jack to the league and myself.
I'm getting Jack to the league too. Absolutely.
But for us, like at Notre Dame, I thought just in general, you got that window. Your red shirt sophomore year or that junior year. If you don't get in that window, what happens? Your ass get
Your ass is on. You sitting down. You sit down.
your ass getting a degree.
They gonna give you this little time. I didn't see people literally get this much time. Like
They gonna give
practice.
you
They gonna give you maybe a week of practice. They can like, all right, you gonna start for this week of practice. See how you do. You mess up 2 days, done. You ain't going in
transfer or get your degree and then go. Because it's like you're gonna be stuck. They gonna the other guy they're gonna put in there and then he gonna play right one game. You're gonna be like, oh damn. And then it's gonna be like, oh, it ain't nothing you can do to take him out. Nah, he just got it. He just got it
at that point.
What did you guys say to Amir, man? Like when he fumbles and he gets moved to wide receiver, like because the way you all you had to rag on him a little bit. You had to.
It was just more of like,
I don't think we was at his head at first.
We was at his head because it was like, damn, bro.
We was at his head because the way they made it was kind of like it was low-key their fault because Amir is a fast guy and they had Amir running power straight down the ground.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was like out of the end zone too, right?
They would take George Atkinson.
Yeah, I remember that.
They would take George Atkinson. They said, George, you out. They'll look down the sideline. It's we backed up on our own 5. They look down, they look around. Amir. So we running there, Amir, 2 tight ends. Running inside, run the A gap.
Hey, this is signal here. Truck.
At the time, it was against Purdue, who had the most grown man defensive line. They were all 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds, and Amir's running a dive right in the middle.
They just tell him to go full speed downhill. He got hit so hard.
He's destroyed, and they're like, "Oh, you're done.
You done." And the thing is, like Amir's small. He's not like a stocky running back. Like he's like a small, so you got to give him on some speed outside stuff. They got him running straight down the middle, like straight at the linebacker. No move that Amir. You can't make no cuts. Don't do nothing. Just run straight. Like,
and we all felt bad. Like
I'm in the game trying to block for him. I'm like, man, I gotta block my dog Amir. I can't let him get lit up out here. Like.
And so after the game, it was more like we all saw what happened to you, bro. It was no different than the David Grimes situation. It was so awkward because we all saw it. We all was there. And it just like they try to act like nothing happened after, and it was just weird. It was like, oh man, that's messed up, bro. But Grimes was never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Grimes, he handled that situation well, bro. If it was
he definitely did.
He handled that quite well. A lot of fans, as we get ready to let you go, and we appreciate you giving us this time today, CJ.
Appreciate y'all.
Are clamoring for true freshman Tobias Merriweather to get on the field. We talked about it earlier. Last week, Tommy Rees said the young man hasn't gotten to the point that he can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, break that down for fans, because like we're like, he can't be trusted to run the fly route. Like,
Listen,
he's the fastest guy in the room, and you can't get him on the field.
Do y'all remember Will Fuller's first catch against Michigan State? It wasn't a dig or a double post. It was a go.
Right.
Run. It's no can't be.
And after that one go route on Trey Waynes, we was like, oh yeah,
he took off. It didn't matter from there. Like all you get him in the game, let him run. He'll figure it out from there.
Straight, we'll figure it out from there. That game against Rutgers, he ran that one post.
Yep.
He ran it so fast. It was like, oh my goodness, who is that? Oh, he's
like, yeah, just let him go. It's not even. I mean, I understand he probably wants him to, learn the playbook, and he's probably making some mistakes in practice and stuff. I understand that, but at the end of the day, like guys gonna make mistakes in practice. They're gonna make even more mistakes. Just put him in the game, tell him exactly what to run, because there's nothing wrong with that. You can tell him. There's nothing wrong with telling the guy you got to fly. Just tell him to go.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
The dude, his defender can know what he has and still can't check it. It don't even matter.
That's why you recruited him, because it's like no matter what,
fast. Let him be fast. That's what I always say. Let him be fast. If he can run, let him run.
Hey, we thank you for joining us today. Let you stick around, man. We do this each and every show. We tell everybody in LL Nation, Leak, they know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
That's right. Petty Junction, Pettiest Story of the Day, brought to you by Onora Whisky, OnoraWhisky.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. Malik, you'll like this one. I got to throw that offensive line from the Bengals on the petty train, my brother. That cat Joe Burrow is on pace to have 111 sacks this season, bro. In 2 games. That's bananas. Yeah, and supposedly you solved it by spending in free agency to solve the problem, and nothing has changed, bro. Absolutely nothing.
Listen, Joe Burrow's gonna be all right, man. We made it to the Super Bowl, the most sacked quarterback, so I'm not worried about it, man.
I don't know about that, dog. I don't know. Y'all lost to Cooper Rush, bro. That's that right there. That's enough to put the whole squad on the petty train.
Oh, now Cooper Rush ain't no slouch. Now they was talking about him being the starter last year.
Now you acting like Cooper Rush is top 15 in the league. That's how you see CJ's eyes. Come on, bro.
The Dallas
I know that's your squad.
In the league. The Dallas Cowboys top 15.
And I'm not gonna leave my city out of it because Luke Getsy, offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, you're on the petty train. My man, you got 4th and inches on like the 1 centimeter yard line to get in the end zone, and you run a shotgun quarterback sneak. Man, and David Montgomery at the time was like working on like 14 carries for like 130.
He was eating last night.
And you got this dude lead blocking for Justin Fields on the goal line. Dude, from the shotgun at that. There's so many bad offensive coordinators around, dude. They just overthink it way too much.
They definitely overthinking. Like, it's just run the ball. Like, just give it to the guy who's going to get you the
What did you think when you played with your OCs? Were they overthinkers like that, or it was just like we running left and running right? We got Tom Brady.
Man, listen, my OC, one of my OCs, man, all he did was run left and run right. That's it. And down the
Seattle. I already know that's Seattle.
Yeah, so it was a little. My OC's a little. My first OC, he was creative with it. He didn't. He was also the one that threw the ball on the goal line.
Yeah, Darren Bevel. Is that Bevel?
That was Bev, yeah.
You know about him.
Bev was Bev. I mess with Bev though, because Bev was that was my dog. But after that, man, it wasn't.
It had to be awkward. You just like, man, you really can't just call the run right there, man.
Man, for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, former NBA player Odin Polynice on the petty train, bro. This dude said, now I understand because I've said this to myself. He said Michael Jordan was an underachiever. He said, "Can you imagine how good this dude could have been if he wasn't a heavy drinker and smoker and actually worked out consistently?"
All right.
Name me one player that the last 6 regular seasons that he played in full, he won championships. Who does that?
LeBron.
Stop.
What?
Stop. Now you're trolling. Now you're trolling.
Trolling.
Now you're
LeBron,
trolling.
baby. What you mean?
Now you're trolling. The way it's going right now, Bron.
He goes to, he wins the championship. I thought that was what we talking about.
You just said that because you're a hater, dude. You know what it is. You just love Bron. You just love Bron, dude. On Polynesian, you're on the petty train. I'm not getting into it with you today, man. I'm not doing this MJ Bron thing with you today.
Yeah, it's not too much to debate, man. We know.
But the fact that that's kind of boss, the fact that he could go smoke and drink and still just dominate, that's kind of boss in my opinion.
Yeah, I think his mindset was just better than everybody around him at the time. Like he was just so like, you're not beating me, but like real.
But he
like
was,
for real
was better than I'm better than you, and I'm better than everybody. Better than you. I jump higher than you. I can do everything better than you. Like
I better than you. I look better than you. I play better than you. I score better.
Yo, on the tail of that, the way college football is, you really can't come into a game like messed up or slapped. But has like Monday practice been tough for anybody before? Like, yo, you partied way too much this weekend, bro. You're a little sluggish on the football field today for practice.
Usually that first day back is always pretty sluggish, honestly. Like,
okay.
Monday, you just got your Monday woes. I think it was tough after some of the bowl game. No, the Pinstripe Bowl of Monday. What was it? The Pinstripe Bowl, and we got there. It was that first night.
Oh yeah, no, that was rough.
Night. That was, man. People was doing all type of crazy stuff.
Well, the night before we got to New York, we got there and it was like, you don't got no curfew. Got no curfew. It was like the next day we're gonna have like a walkthrough practice. We got there in the morning. It was a full speed practice. The whole team, half the team came in that joint hung still lit.
No, like lit, like oh, we in the club lit.
Like, look, I mean, people ain't get back. You know, it's New York. It's like around Christmas time, so it's popping.
Right.
So we were right around. I think we got there like 2 days before Christmas. So like it was popping. So obviously people out. I mean, I know I didn't get back until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
We had practice at 10.
Because Coach Kelly was like, yeah, y'all good. Y'all do whatever.
No,
and
he said no
like,
curfew. What?
In New York?
New York? Oh, yeah, it's over with.
Oh, yeah, and we had Bon Jovi at the time. So he had plugs. We had ate at some restaurant that week that he had set up in Little Italy. It was, man, what?
Yeah, it was
crazy. We got PS5s and that was probably the best year for gifts, too.
Yeah.
We got the big ass North Face parkas.
Yeah, I still got my big North Face.
Still got mine. Yeah, still got mine.
He said, I still got my big North Face.
I don't even need it.
Oh, yeah, you don't need where you at, but shit, yeah, we had them.
Yo, great show. Subscribe, share, hit that like button, let everybody know. Lucky Lefty Podcast, the fastest growing Notre Dame podcast in the land. Shout out to CJ Prosise sticking through for Petty Train.
Appreciate
at
y'all.
Lucky Lefty 8, Malik Zaire 8 at Lucky Left. No. Malik Zaire 8, and then Overtime Malik on Instagram at SD2 Mics on Twitter and Instagram. Man, we'll see you guys tomorrow where we'll break down Marcus Freeman's press conference. Well, I heard he went at Prince Collie today, bro. So we'll get at that.
Yeah.
On the next episode of the Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. We'll see you all. Have a great day, but most of all, make sure you spend it different.
Hey, Marty Bates, man, you tripping, dog.